Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stacey West. I'm Jake. We're back for another preview. This time we've got a Carabao Cup game against Bradford City, obviously a team we know very well. I'm luckily joined by Andrew, who's a Bradford City home and away supporter. Andrew, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, unfortunately, a Bradford City supporter.
How long have you been going to the games?
Probably about, I think now, 10 years maybe. Oh, no, more than that. 10, 11, 12, something in that.
How have you found supporting Bradford? Have you had a few highs and a few lows like we have?
Hard. It's definitely hard supporting Bradford. We had good times, in 2012-13, we had the cup run. And obviously beating Chelsea, promotion, but since about 2017, it's just awful.
So let's just talk about a bit more about this season. So how has pre-season gone for Bradford? Obviously, it's a bit of a weird time with coronavirus.
Yeah.
How have Bradford reacted on and off the pitch?
To be fair, it's been, I wouldn't say we haven't won a game in pre-season. I wouldn't say it's been too bad if you actually look at the results from friendlies. But then in terms of recruitment, I'd say we've downgraded from last season, definitely. We've lost James Vaughan, we've lost a couple of loan players, and we've just not really brought any good quality in my opinion.
So realistically, obviously you had that cup win over Bolton, which has brought you to the next round of the cup. How did that go for you, and how good was that?
To be fair, I wasn't really expecting us to beat Bolton last week. Before the season started, I was saying I'd say probably about finished 10th and no cup run, nothing like that. I was expecting a sort of nothing special this season. And then we put in a good performance against Bolton, to be fair, to get to the next round. And, I think everyone sort of gets a bit optimistic when if you win your first game or something like that. But then we played Colchester on Saturday and we were just no good at all, really. So, yeah, but we did play very well against Bolton, to be fair. Scored 2 good goals.
Would it be fair to say that you were shocked then that you managed to beat Bolton?
Yeah, to be fair, I was, yeah, definitely.
Because they're one of the favourites to go.
Exactly, yeah. And
personally, I've got Bradford to finish inside the playoffs this year. Do you think that's realistic? Do you think you guys can finish?
It's tough to say because if you look at player for player, I'd say no, but McCall's got a big history of overachieving. So I'd like to say we'd finish in the top 7. If we do, I reckon it won't be top 3. I reckon 7th, 6th, something like that.
Obviously, Bradford are quite a big club in the 4th tier.
Yeah.
No, it must be difficult to watch the club that you love so much struggling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
and the football
awful. I do believe that we will get back to the top 2 divisions one day, but it's hard to see where it's coming from at the minute. We've got an owner that doesn't really care about football. He doesn't have any interest in football whatsoever. And then you've got Julian Rhodes, who's the CEO, who just it's almost as if he's happy to settle for mediocrity, all about selling the cheap season tickets rather than actually wanting to progress.
So the aims for this season, where you touched on, you think Bradford could finish in the playoffs, but not an automatic spot. Is that sort of what Bradford are aiming for this year? Because obviously League Two, typical, I think, from when we were in the division, but there were some good teams, and there were probably about 8 or 9 teams that were looking to finish inside them playoff places. Do you think Bradford are one of the favourites to secure a playoff space? Do you think they're one of the pack just outside of it, or?
I think if you look at quality of player, I'd say definitely not. If you look at our strike force, we've got Donaldson, who I think is turning 37 soon. You've got Guthrie, who's not really done anything anywhere, and then Lee Novak. There's no pace up front. There's no sort of young, prolific striker like a lot of teams. If you even look at Salford, Ian Henderson, he's a very good signing for a League Two club. It's just everyone seems to have a lot better quality than us, so I can't see us being able to get top 3. I really can't.
In terms of players that Lincoln fans should be looking out for on tomorrow night? Who do you think are you backing to perform well against the Imps on?
We just signed a centre mid from Wolves for an undisclosed fee called Elliot Watt. He's 20 years old, 19, I think, and he's a Scottish under 21s international, I believe. He looks a very good prospect. And then we've got Billy Clark, who we've signed for the third time. A lot of fans were happy about that, but first 2 games he's not looked bad. Number 10, to be fair. So I think Billy Clark and Elliot Watt, I'd say.
Billy Clark was he at Grimsby last season?
He was, yeah, last season for Ian Holloway.
He would be very liked amongst the Lincoln supporters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, Lincoln. Obviously, we're a Lincoln podcast or we're a Lincoln website. What are your opinions on our little club?
Well, it's, I always remember Lincoln. Well, obviously we've always got that history because of what happened all them years ago. But I always remember Lincoln recently you always seem to be on a cup run when you were in the National League, non-league, under the Cowley brothers. And that's where Lincoln always seemed to pop up. You know, I remember, was it Arsenal he played against?
Yeah, Arsenal.
Yeah.
We lost 5-0.
Yeah. And then since then, you've just sort of parachuted up the leagues.
Can you take inspiration then from,
Definitely, yeah. To just show that it can be done. And, last season, I was sort of expecting Lincoln to be either pushing for the playoffs in League One. But then, obviously, Cowleys went to Huddersfield.
Obviously, Lincoln and Bradford have had quite a number of players that have played for both of these clubs. Jack Payne being one of them. Obviously, Jack Payne, unbelievable for Bradford the year you come down.
Yeah.
We signed him in the summer. He looked good for 2 or 3 games and then disappeared. Obviously, he's now left the club for Swindon. What did you think of Jack Payne during his time at Bradford?
Well, he were a very good player, but sort of the season put him down a bit, if you know what I mean. Sort of, I don't know how to word it, as if
he's very much a confidence player, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of second half of the season when Bowie came in, his sort of performances dropped. And I think as we got nearer and nearer to relegation, that everything just seemed to go down for him. And then when Bowie came in, he was sometimes even coming on off the bench, so he wasn't even starting. And then, but definitely a very good player. And if you look at the squad we had, including him, we should have been challenging at the top end of the table, not finishing bottom. Yeah,
because Bradford had quite a few years of challenging for a playoff space in League One for the relegation, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, it would be very hard to talk about a game between Bradford and Lincoln without mentioning the 56.
Yeah.
Those that died in the Bradford fire disaster, 54 Bradford supporters and 2 Lincoln City supporters.
Yeah.
How good of obviously with the coronavirus at the minute, supporters can't get into the stadiums, but how big of an occasion would it have been, for these 2 clubs to really give a not a send off, but a nice commemorative effort to put their forward.
Yeah, no, it'd have been massive. I reckon we'd have got, for a League Cup second round, I reckon we'd have got a very big attendance just for that alone. I think the 2 clubs will always have that sort of friendship between them, just for that reason. It's a real shame that fans can't, go in and make it a special match despite the result. It being a really big event.
Because obviously the 2 clubs, although there will be opponents on tomorrow night. They very much stand together, don't they?
Yeah.
So obviously the game on Tuesday. They did the third round draw after the draw for the second round, obviously, and Liverpool came out the hat for both teams, which, I mean, Gary, the guy who runs the Stacey West, has told us that we have a game against Bradford before we play Liverpool. We can't take our eyes off the prize.
Yeah.
But drawing Liverpool at home, again, as I said earlier, it's a shame that supporters won't be able to be there.
Yeah.
But how big would for example, if Bradford were to knock us out on tomorrow night, how big would it be for the club that Liverpool, the Premier League champions, came to town?
Yeah, I think it'd be really, if not anything, a really big lift for the club. Because we've so many tough times recently. Just to be able to play against Liverpool, it'd be in a competitive game. So we played them in a friendly last pre-season. It'd be a really big lift for the club, and especially for the players, because we've got a lot of young players who to play against Liverpool so early in their career. For example, Reece Staunton, I think he's 18. It'd just be massive for him. I'm sure a couple of them are Liverpool fans himself as well.
And obviously, Liverpool are probably the best team out of the top six to draw in terms of the fact that
Yeah,
they don't play their full strength team. Yeah, obviously, Jurgen Klopp believes his priorities lie elsewhere. I'm not saying that Bradford or Lincoln would be able to knock them out, but do you think that it'd be easier than saying drawing a City or a United or an Arsenal?
oh yeah, definitely. Because I think, like you said, Jurgen Klopp, he doesn't sort of play, the big players in that sort of game. You'd be looking at your sort of younger players, Curtis Jones, Brewster, that sort of calibre of player. So I think it wouldn't be, an easy game. It wouldn't be. I don't like you said. I wouldn't say they're there to be knocked out, but definitely easier than your Chelsea, Man City.
So obviously, I'm going to try and gauge a score prediction for tomorrow night. Are you confident going into the game? Obviously, we're a division higher than you guys. We'll be the favourites.
Mm.
How do you think it's going to go?
I said to you before the game that I think I was confident, but I thought about more. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I think I'll go 1-1 and Bradford to win on penalties.
You think Bradford are gonna knock us out?
Yeah, on penalties I'll go.
Fair enough that you're confident, but does our result against Oxford at all not? Do you not think it changes anything?
Yeah, I think
Oxford
I
are,
think it does. It does change it a little bit. That's what's made me sort of change my prediction a bit. And then obviously it was drawing to Colchester, giving me less optimism. But I'll stick with 1-1 and Bradford to win on penalties.
perfect. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Aaron. It's been
Yeah, thanks for having me.
but everybody else watching, we hope you've enjoyed the video and hopefully we can get a positive result on Tuesday night. Thank you very much for watching. Perfect.